the ports are working towards their clean port policy or their green port policy. And both Los Angeles and Long Beach have started down a road. They started down this about 5 years ago. It became very public about 1.5 years ago. Now they have world recognition. You know, the world's looking at what our ports are doing. You guys can go on the internet, you know, just Google it, look at what's going on, and see what happens, you know, what's going on. I don't know if you guys want to put it in one of your favorites. Maybe the environmental group will, but the art students maybe won't. But you guys will be reading about it, you know, in the paper, and you'll see it that's in there. The port wants to have some very visible things. This May 8th is going to be something that's very visible that they do. Villaraigosa started, and he says, "Oh, I want to be the first coal iron in Los Angeles." Well, what he did is he had a barge over on one side with a generator, ran the wires over the port itself, and plugged a ship in. That wasn't electricity coming from their grid. It was nowhere ready to go. But they made a splash in the news media to try to say, "Oh, the Port of LA has the first coal iron." Since they put things up over there. But it's interesting when you see politics and you see things that are being done from the media. Anyhow, I've talked to you guys for a while. I don't like to necessarily just talk and give you a lot of information. But the first question that I asked was, what was coal ironing? Who knows what coal ironing is? You know who it is? What is it?
No, I don't know who it is.
You know, what is it?
Oh, it's when you plug in the ship.
You plug in a ship to shore power?
Yep, ship to shore power.
Dang it!
Whoa! Look at this.
What is that?
Hey, how's that? All right.
Flashlight?
Hey, it's got a little electricity. But who has some questions for me? Will you get a prize for a question? Well, let's see. Yes.
Are all the trucks now using the ultra-low sulfur diesels?
The trucks aren't using the ultra-low sulfur diesel. They're using diesel that you just get at the gas station. Matter of fact, when I drove over here, the truck drivers are paying over $4 a gallon for the diesel fuel. They're thinking about having a strike, you know, because the cost is so high. So the trucks themselves, what they're trying to do to help the trucks clean up is have the newer technology trucks, just like our cars. I drive a 96 car. Well, my catalytic converter is kind of crudted up, but a 2007 car is new, and it pollutes less. So it's the same type of operation there. Yes?
Are there grease liners also using the iron?
Are there what?
Cold iron, the grease liners? Like,
Yeah. I've actually talked, the ones over here on Princess that are in the Port of San Pedro, they cold iron right now. The Holland American ones don't. They still smoke. The Carnival Cruise Line, the ones that go out of Long Beach, they're going to start cold ironing next year. So they cold iron right now up in Alaska, and we're working and putting the infrastructure here so that they'll be able to hook up.
okay, because I know you guys, aren't you going to the port, like in Long Beach, where the 21st landing is?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's like a beach.
Right, so the 21st landing, that's kind of where the ones where they cold iron right now in the Port of LA, and then Long Beach is right out by the Queen Mary. You guys know where that is, where the Spruce Goose used to be, all that stuff. That's where the Carnival goes in. So those are working, you know, on that. British Petroleum, where they have those big black covered things for their fuel, that all cold irons in there. So they bring the crude oil in. It runs off of electricity when it's at birth, and then it offloads all the crude, and then they turn the engines back on, and then they go back out to sea again. So that one's been working now for about the last 6 months. Yes?
Which causes more pollution, trucks or the train?
Right now the trucks cause a lot more. There's a lot more of them. Each one's an individual one. If you hear the same train commercial that I hear, it's like for 1 gallon of fuel they can move like 3,000 tons of cargo, you know, a mile. You know, so they definitely cause less. But when they're all in an area that's very compact, every bit of pollution affects us all. So you have all the 16,000 trucks, that's the number that they talk about, either 16,000 or 17,000 trucks. If they work to get those off, that's going to reduce a lot of power, a lot of carbon in the air. We do the electricity for the vessels when they come in. That reduces a lot, and the trains themselves. So collectively, that's going to make it to where we'll be able to see downtown Long Beach from the Palos Verdes Peninsula, where some days it's pretty bad. Other questions? come on, you guys are teenagers. Oh, a teacher's got to ask one here. We go for it.
Someone from Assemblyman Ted Booth's office told us that they have a hydrogen fuel cell refueling station in Carson, and that trucks were going to be retrofitted or something for that. I was wondering if she was thinking of natural gas, or, I mean, is there hydrogen fuel cell refueling stations down there that are being used?
Let me preface that one way. I work with Southern California Edison. What I'm going to tell you is the same information I've read in the newspaper, because it's a subsidiary of my company that's doing this, and we have to take care of the lawyers. Yeah, there's a hydrogen cell over there. You know, Edison Mission Energy has put it there. They work together with British Petroleum. Hydrogen takes a lot of energy to make. So all you guys in the environmental class, I challenge you to study up on hydrogen. Because people say, oh, that's the next fuel, you know, that everyone's going to use. Well, yeah, but what was the Hindenburg? What fuel was inside the Hindenburg when it blew up? Okay, that's a key thing. It takes a lot of electricity to separate hydrogen from the air. It is a very it's not an element that is just, it's naturally occurring, but it's not naturally occurring separately from our atmosphere. So it takes a lot of energy to separate it and then transport it and fuel. So yeah, hydrogen cars, and I know there's somebody in the Riviera that drives one of them. I know he works down in Irvine somewhere. His kids go to Richardson, or my youngest does. Sorry, you guys in Cali, New York, where that went from there. But the kids will be all together. But the hydrogen fuel works, and the only product that you get in is water vapors out of the car itself. But getting that fuel itself, it's very expensive, and also it takes a lot of energy to get the hydrogen and to get it separated. So there are some other technologies that hopefully can be invented that will work as well. The other thing that you're talking about is the trucks is the natural gas. And it's not only natural gas, but it's liquefied natural gas. There's a fueling station that is in Carson. There's another one down just on the other side of the Orange County line that a company called Clean Energy is building as we speak. And the idea there is fuel switching to where the trucks, and they figure they can do it for less than $40,000 right now, and hopefully less as time goes, that they can take a diesel engine truck and retrofit it so it runs on natural gas or liquefied natural gas, and that would be cleaner than the low sulfur or the best running diesel that's around. So all these steps are gradually reducing what is going out in the carbon footprint. So those are all good questions. I saw a question, yes?
Are you putting those cold iron plugins on Terminal Island as well? And if you are, isn't Terminal Island sinking like half an inch every year? What are you doing about that?
Oh, that's interesting when you're talking about the sinking in the port, because the port is sinking. Our generating station where it used to be, when we stand the generating station in Long Beach, it's 20 feet below where the water is. And it used to be even with it. When you look, what happened was, you've all seen pictures of Torrance back in the 1920s. You saw all these oil wells. Well, the port of San Pedro in Long Beach, they had oil wells all over. Well, man pumped all that oil out. Guess what happened? The ground sunk. The port did the same thing. So yeah, that's all sinking there. They're trying to push other stuff underneath of it to give it a little boost to keep it up there, but that is an issue. That's a concern that the ground is not necessarily stable there, and they have to keep piling it on. Are there going to be cold ironing things on Terminal Island? You bet. That's the deepest port. It's 80 feet deep, 81 feet deep with water. It's one of the only places that the big ships can come. That's going to be a huge operation at Pier 400 at Terminal Island. So that's going to be a lot that you're going to see going there.